Risk is becoming a more integral part of modern businesses, helping to guide business decisions to minimize the exposure they have to external and internal risks. It is very common for a business to control their risk registers in Excel, like the one shown here, which is the risks associated with running an electoral campaign for a local government. There are three key difficulties that are commonly encountered when using Excel to manage risk registers. It is difficult to easily identify natural clusters or groups of risks. There's no easy or visual way of identifying how these risks are related to one another, and it is very time-consuming to produce an engaging report for business leaders. If I take the data from Excel by simply copying and pasting and importing into SharpCloud, you will see how SharpCloud can help you visualize your risks. Having a more visual platform allows business leaders to be actively engaged with the data, informing the company of what risks to be mindful of when making key decisions. Here is a standard 5x5 risk PID, but SharpCloud is customizable to your requirements. So if you use a 3x3 or 5x4 risk PID, SharpCloud can help visualize the risks in a way that suits you. Using SharpCloud, you can filter items out interactively based upon the data that is imported, such as type of risk. Here is a macro level view showing all the risks, but you can focus on a specific type of risk, allowing a more refined conversation to take place, reducing the potential noise and to focus on a section of the data. Filters also allow you to be able to quickly pivot to show a different set of data, which is key during these conversations. In SharpCloud, you also have the capability to click on parts of the view to display specific subsets of the information, such as only wanting to see risks that have a very high impact. SharpCloud has helped risk managers understand how their risks are connected using relationships, which you can see here. Seeing these relationships will help people become aware that there is a link between risks and that risks are not siloed events. Instead, if one of those risks materializes, it could have an impact on multiple other risks. For example, this accessibility risk, which has a very low impact and probability, but looking at the relationships, we can see that it's related to another risk that has a very high probability and impact. If that risk materializes, what will the knock-on effects be to this original accessibility risk? Another great thing about seeing these dependencies is being able to easily identify highly related risks and showing what risks it can impact. If I wanted to focus on this specific risk, I can bring into this radial view, showing the risks that it's related to in a more focused way alongside additional comments on the connection. By taking it one step further and opening the item, you can see a wealth of information available behind the risk. On these panels, the wealth of information includes a brief description of the risk and some of its key values, such as its probability and impact scores. I can also have a look at the relationships they have between the risks and some of the mitigations that are in place, but we can also look at key details such as a risk flight path and additional resources that are available. The risk PID is a staple view within the risk space that SharpCloud can help visualize, but other views can be leveraged to produce a different way of looking at the same data, such as this view which separates risks by their type, to the timeline view which shows the actions and when they're due to take place to help reduce the risks. This allows a risk team to be able to easily see what actions are currently underway or which ones are going to be taking place in the future and can easily amend the timeline to fit with their current requirements. This living story can then be shared with other users in the organization for them to be able to comment on and provide feedback, digest the information that is displayed, and become more engaged with risk within the organization.